I'm going to show you the equipment and the setup and procedure that I used to capture some high-speed images of gunshots with the Sony RX100 compact digital camera. This is the gun that I use. It's an airsoft rifle made by KWA. Model is LM4 PTR. It's a replica of an AR-15 automatic rifle in many ways, but it only fires plastic BBs instead of real ammunition. That's why it has the bright orange tip at the end of the barrel. It fires these black plastic or other colors of plastic BBs using green gas, which is squeezed into the magazine. The magazine holds about 38 or 40 of these plastic BBs, which are 6 millimeters in size, and these particular ones each weigh 0.20 grams. So that is the ammunition for this airsoft rifle. This is the gun vise. It's called the CTK Precision P3 Ultimate Gun Vise. I needed that in order to hold the rifle very securely so it would be consistent, firing in the exact same place each time. The target was put inside a cardboard box. I cut out a window and then taped a piece of plexiglass over the window so I could have the camera and the flash safe outside that window when the gun's firing. Inside the target box, you can see the pellet trap at the back. Here inside is a slab of non-hardening modeling clay, which I use because hopefully it would not ricochet the BBs. There are wooden clothespins in that to hold things like pieces of paper to see where the BBs are landing. Those are some of the pieces of paper I use. Then there's a piece of Melba toast, which is one of the targets you'll see later on in the still images. Most of the time I used balloons for the target. I would take an open paper clip and stick that through the stem of the balloon, then anchor the balloon into the modeling clay using the clothespins also for some support. The setup there is the gun vise, and those two gray objects in between the gun vise and the target, that's the infrared beam devices. They project an infrared beam. The BB goes through the beam, interrupts it. That signal goes to this device here called the Stop Shot, made by Cognisys Inc. And you can see trigger 1, which is the flash, is set to be triggered 4.3 milliseconds after the beam is interrupted, which should be just enough time for the BB to get from the infrared beam over to the target. So then at that point the flash would fire. The camera would have its shutter already open in a darkened room, and the flash firing would capture the image. The Sony RX100 here is set to manual exposure mode with an exposure of 1 second at f9.0 using ISO setting of 125. Self-timer is set for 10 seconds, and it's set for manual focus. I would pre-focus on the target. The flash is a Yongnuo YN560 Roman numeral 3 in manual mode at 1/128th of full power. That's to give a very short duration for the flash to try to catch the fast action of the BB hitting the target. There's the rifle. You can see it's set so the BB will interrupt the infrared beam, and then a few milliseconds later the flash will fire just as the BB hits the target if all goes well. Of course, the timing of that would change depending upon the circumstances. This is everything set up for an actual live shooting session, and I will just show you how this actually worked. Turn out the lights, then I will go over there and push the shutter button to start the self-timer, and then I will fire the gun's trigger just as the self-timer runs out. That does it for one shot, and then in a few seconds I'll show you some of the images. That was the Melba toast hit by the BB. The BB's at the far right. This is a milk bone. The BB's just coming in at the left, and then the rest of them will be balloons showing how far the BB extends the balloon out before it actually penetrates. Here's another balloon shot, and then the final one shows it actually coming out of the exploded balloon. For more information about these cameras, see whiteknightpress.com, where we sell paperback and ebooks.